Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. Coach, to take a look at this year's team, obviously some of the leadership is gone, some of the veterans are gone, but there are veterans that are left. Just what you can say about passing the torch and how there's not an expectation to have much drop-off because of what you created in Virginia so far.
I think what I'd say to that is it's their time. I think there's an eagerness or an excitement for the opportunity for guys like Devin Hall, Darius Thompson, Marielle. London has been a key figure to this. Isaiah's played a lot, but these other guys who have been more in a supplemental role, I think they're really excited for the opportunity to have it be their team and have a bigger role. They're part of the team in the years past. So I think there's excitement with that. The rest of the guys, quite honestly, are all newcomers. Jack Salt and Jared Reuter played just a little bit, but the rest are newcomers. The 6 newcomers, 4 freshmen, and a couple of, well, 5 freshmen, and Momedy was a redshirt. But so I think those guys who have some experience are excited for their time, and it's their time. That's what I told them, and just want them to be obviously as good as they can. And because of the last few years of success, I think they've seen what can be attained by playing together, but also realize how special that group was before, and we're going to do everything we can, of course, to carry it on.
Next question for Coach will come to our left, about the 6th row back in the middle.
Cameron Anderson, DSB. You mentioned all the turnover. How important will London's continued progression offensively be?
Yep.
I mean, I know you obviously are a defensive coach and pride yourself on the defense, but how important is he going to be offensively for success this season?
Yeah, I kind of like offense a little bit. Yeah, we're pretty efficient, so I don't know if we're I think London, you couldn't have a better, if you're going to have one guy who's experienced when you have a lot of newcomers, you better have a point guard and a player like London. London's greatest strength, he had it when he came in from day one, is his feel. His mind for the game is exceptional. And I've made a mistake, I think, a couple times with London saying, you got to be aggressive, we need you to shoot this many shots. It's taken him out of his greatest strength, his feel for the game. I always encourage him to improve, to be a little more assertive, and every year he's gotten more aggressive. I think he's taken a few more shots, and he understands the situation. But if I try to make him someone he's not, I take him out of his game and his strengths. He's smart enough to figure out where he has to look and be assertive, but he's also smart enough to say, what does the team need? Who needs to touch the ball? What do we need defensively? And I think if I try to make him a clone of what Malcolm Brogdon was last year, you got to be this way, I think it's a mistake. And I think his greatest attribute is his understanding of what needs to be done. And of course, a little encouragement, maybe a swift kick every now and then, but his feel is at the highest level, one of the best I've coached. And I respect that, and I'll respect that. And I mean, if there's an issue, we'll talk about, okay, what can we do? But a couple times, if I've taken him outside of his comfort zone, that's not good for anybody.
Your next 2 questions will come from the camera platform in the back, first in the light shirt towards the left.
Marty from NBC 29.
Marty.
From one of your veterans to one of your freshmen, Coach. I think at Media Day in Charlottesville, you talked about your freshman class, but you didn't talk specifically about Kyle Guy, your first McDonald's All-American. What do you like about him? How much of an impact do you think he can make as a freshman?
Yeah, time will tell. Kyle, all of our freshmen, and I'll get to Kyle, have shown great promise. Kyle has shown flashes of being really good. There's a physicality and a maturity, mentally and physically, that has to come to, I think, have consistent success. All of our freshmen, Kyle, they're slight, very skilled, good mind for the game, can play, but there's a physicality to the college game that's an adjustment for anybody. And to be fair to Kyle, to be fair to all those freshmen, there will be an adjustment. But we're excited about him because he's a wonderful young man. He brings a flair to the game. He can fly off screens, hit shots. He's got a real good pep to his step, I guess you'd say. And we're hopeful that in the right opportunities he's going to thrive. And I know it's not a matter of if. I believe it's when, and it's just when they're ready. It's a lot. I don't ever expect a whole lot. Hopefully I'm pleasantly surprised by freshmen, but you don't know what you're going to get. When you have returners, you should know, but freshmen, we're going to need a few of them, 2 or 3 to probably contribute. But I don't want to put expectations, say we got to have 10 points and this amount of minutes and this many, shots. It's not like that. We'll see how it goes. We got a couple quality scrimmages, Marty. That'll tell good non-conference schedule. I think it'll just evolve as the season progresses.
Jump down 2 camera positions to the right from Marty. That'll be our next question.
Mario Sacco, WSYR out of Syracuse. Last year in the tournament, kind of a tale of two halves against SU.
Yeah.
What makes playing their style so difficult when you're playing them not only in the tournament but in ACC play?
Yeah, in that game, I mean, we shot it real well in the first half, or London did, and then we got cold. If you get cold against them, it's trouble. And then they pressed us, and we didn't finish at the end. I marvel at Coach Boeheim. I'm a big believer in a Vince Lombardi theory: simplicity with execution. And they have mastered that 2-3 zone, and it evolves. They make adjustments, but they know what they're going to do. We try to be that way with our defense and our offense, and you just have to be better at your zone offense than they are at their zone defense. And it's a battle of wills, and they have the personnel. They recruit to it. The guys believe in it, and certainly it's difficult because you're going to have to make some shots, but you better have some skilled people in the high post. If you don't have guys who can do that, there's a lot of things that go on, and they can, like I said, it's an intelligent zone that sort of adapts to it as the game goes on.
Coach, to your left, third row.
Coach Ken Segura, Atlanta Journal-Constitution. I want to take you back to your first year because you're kind of in a similar situation. You were the Josh Pastner at Tech,
Yep.
having to rebuild. What kind of helped you get through first couple of years where you're taking a lot of lumps? What kind of helped you to get through the first couple of years
What
where you're
helped
taking
me
so
get
many
through?
lumps? Yeah.
Yeah, my faith in the Lord and a loving wife. Those are the things. No, I think I was fortunate that I played for my father, worked for him, and I was part of, as a player, a rebuilding process. As a coach, when I was with him, we went to Washington State. I was with him, it was 1 year when he went to the Final Four at Wisconsin. But when you experience rebuilding, you understand the patience that's required. You understand how you better have a clear vision. There's going to be a lot of detractors of what you're trying to do, but you have to be able to make subtle adjustments. But this is what we're doing. I see the end result, and you got to put on the blinders and go and stay true to what matters to you. You have to know what matters to you. You have to be clear and have an identity. And having that modeled from my father as a player and then working with him, invaluable. And I think sometimes, when you get in a spot where, and I don't know the exact situation at Georgia Tech, but a new coach in a league like this, every year's a battle. You just got to be as good as you can in what you do and just make progress. Celebrate the little successes and keep going, and then you'll get a little momentum. But this is a tough league to do it. It's going to be a tough league for every team this year. But I'm thankful for those experiences because patience is a hard thing in today's college sports society.
Just right of the aisle, very back row, hand up in the air.
Hey, Coach. Travis Turkey, Pittsburgh Tribune. You get Pitt twice this year. What do you know about Kevin Stallings and the offense he wants to run with the Panthers, and how does that change your preparation as compared to a Jamie Dixon team?
Yeah, Coach Stallings is one of the best offensive minds. Coach Dixon was a great coach, too, so I'm a coach's son. I respect all coaches. I learned that a long time ago, and they're good. But regarding Coach Stallings, one of the better offensive minds in the game. We played him when I was at Washington State in a double overtime loss in the second round of the NCAA tournament when he was at Vanderbilt. We scrimmaged him we scrimmaged him 2 or 3 times when he was at Vanderbilt, I was at Virginia. I liked to scrimmage him because I knew how hard they were to guard. You better be sharp in your execution defensively, and great mind, just a heck of a coach, and you're going to have to be prepared. I think they have I think they have some quality players that certainly were left, and he'll certainly add his, but quality coach, quality team, and that's why this league there's just such good depth in it, but hard to guard. Quick ball screen action, middle, he can do a lot of things with his offensive pieces.
Coach, your last question will come from Mario in the very back, by the doors from which you entered. Straight back.
Guess he left. Oh, there he is.
Coach, you talk about the depth of this league. Is this the most depth you've seen in your years at Virginia?
Can I tell you that at the end of the year? I mean, how do I really know? I mean, we sit here and we get up in front and we talk about it. On paper, yeah, it appears that way. It'll all be played out, so we'll find out. But you just look on paper, the quality coaches, the maturity in the league, and what you have. And, yeah, it seems that way, but we say that every year, don't we? But I think it'll be determined. It looks good. That's all I can say.